Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry Austin. Rafa, you're wearing something kind of nice today. You want to tell us what you're wearing?
Yeah, just modeling the new SAFC home jersey, ready for March 11th. You even got the patch,
Ooh,
the new USO patch. But I'm still waiting for the championship badge. We need a championship badge here in the middle. Kind of told the guys at the soccer factory, hey, you say I saw the Atlas jersey have one. Why not? I mean, Argentina's got one. Why not? Why? Yeah, SAFC. They
are
need
we
a
getting one?
US. We should be. I think we should. I don't know. I guess it's going to be up to the USL or them. Maybe we have to take a poll out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes here. So Royce is spending money in Vegas with the misses. So congrats to I hope him and his wife are having Susie are having a good time in Vegas. Robert celebrating the
Celebrating.
Brahmas' first win since they gave it away last week for that here. So, Robert, where are you? Matt, thank you for all the work you're doing behind the scenes for that here. So, not a lot to do on the show here tonight. Here, somewhat still a slow week, player movement wise. However, they did come off with an announcement, which we had heard rumors that there was going to be a nice surprise. And how nice is a surprise is this? July 15th, an international friendly against Sunderland, who at the time the announcement was made were in a playoff position to go up to the Premier League. Since then, lost this weekend, so they are now out of the playoff picture right now for the promotion. But of course, still 3 months left in the season. Doesn't go. It goes till mid-May. I think pretty
Yeah.
close right into May. And with the World Cup, it might. I don't think they extended the season, right? I don't think they could because of player contracts, right? So
Yeah.
it'll be wrapped up by that time frame here. But your thoughts on SAFC versus SAFC?
Los Gato Blancos versus the Los Gatos Negros. Yeah. It's gonna be a fun game. I mean, to have a team that has been in the Premier League, come to San Antonio. I know what the last team we had was from
Cardiff City.
Cardiff City. So this is a great move by by the by the franchise there to bring them here. Uh, so that Sutherland's had a story, you know, be one of the older teams, but it's great. It's going to be fun, and if SAFC marketing is watching, make some commemorative scars for this game
Yes,
because
that was a
I'll
big
buy
miss
one.
against the Cardiff. Yeah,
Yeah, make some make
um,
some make some game scars for this game. So I mean, it's a once in a lifetime to play a team from that was in the EPL.
yeah. They've got two FA Cup wins. 1879 is the year they were formed. They have a Netflix series that went 2 years, I think, maybe even three. Sunderland was it Sunderland Till I Die
Yeah,
for that here, and just to me, like I said here, Sunderland does is having a U.S. tour. I thought it was funny that they're going to land in Austin and travel down to San Antonio for that, just because sometimes flying into Austin is cheaper than San Antonio. For those that need to know, if you are flying out from San Antonio, check Austin because sometimes you may find a cheaper flight, for an hour drive. Then after they play us, they'll travel to New Mexico, play New Mexico United at the baseball field, which I thought is kind of interesting for that here. And then they'll fly out to North Carolina Rumor is it's probably North Carolina FC that they're going to face, although last I checked, that has not been announced, and then they'll fly back home for that here. So it's a little, probably a 10-day trip, you figure, maybe a little bit longer, 2 weeks at most for Sunderland. Mid-July, so it'll be interesting to kind of see the players that they bring in. I guess I don't know if is there any major Euros tournaments going on this.
Just what's it
the
called?
Euros?
Nations? No, next year's the Euros. Yeah, we have. They have what's it called? Nations, League of Nations.
The
games,
Nations
but that's,
League.
Yeah, so I don't think that's interfering much with this preseason games, because most of those players should be back. But I'm sure the Southern's kind of real hyped up coming here, playing the best team in Texas. I'm sure they're going to say hi to Austin. Hey, we're going to go play the best team in Texas, because the one that has the Copa Tejas, the real Copa Tejas. So it's gonna be fun, and also it's a good exposure. Who knows, out of this maybe some type of partnership. To learn from these, a team that's been in the EPL. It's kind of share some things with our franchise, and who's to say maybe they have an eye on one of our players. Hopefully not right now, but maybe take them in the future.
Well, that's my question. Take somebody like Pirano as an example. Now, I don't think to say that he's going to go from a league in Portugal back to San Antonio and then be picked up by, by a championship level team. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but like I said here, to me, that's something that I'd be interested to see. Is kind of some of the young kids and the opportunities that this may open up the door to, just being able to kind of see the opportunities that are given to them for that here. So this was a bonus game. So tickets are on sale already. I would suggest, if you want tickets, to get them now, not wait till beginning of July. Because I know I picked up some extra seats. I know of several other people that have picked up extra seats. So to me, it's not something that I would wait if that was something that did have your attention for that here. Then the next thing here, we signed on loan from the Colorado Rapids, Michael Edwards, a center back. A lot of us may remember him from the Colorado Springs Switchbacks that he played in here. I forget which one of us is the one that found, I think it was Robert. Back when Patino got his red card, the person that he interacted with was a young Mr. Edwards, who baited him to respond to there. So, but he has grown quite a bit. To me, he was their best defender. I reached out to Matt Pollard, who covers the Rapids. He does the podcast Kicking the High Line. If you haven't heard of him, he mentioned that, and I quote, "A really good young player, was one of the reliable defensive players for Rapids 2 last year. He's been great in every switchback schemes that he played in that he's seen. Walked right into a starting lineup, and he did, and he played pretty much every minute. He's hoping that he can take the next step. He wasn't going to spend much time on the bench this year, start for Rapids 2, because the quality between MLS Next Pro and USL Championships is still a big difference. I was looking at it; he's probably 4th or 5th on the Rapids depth chart for center back. So minus any injuries, you're there. Also, don't expect him, I don't think, for Open Cup as well. So that's one thing to kind of, on these players that are loaned out, especially with the Rapids here, since they have the ability to recall him. And the Rapids are playing quite a bit of quite a bit, have the potential to play 40, 50 matches with the new MLS playoff structure, depending on how far they go along those lines here. So depth will be important, but center back's one of those, unless there's injury, typically you don't make much changes, right? Because you can rotate usually, 3, maybe 4 if needed. But if you've got a good 3 that you can rotate, because if you're subbing for a center back, typically that's not a good thing. So, as Austin FC found out last night. So, your thoughts on Edwards?
This is a great pickup. I mean, he's, like I said, is prototypical player out for loan for SAFC, MLS experience. We know his background. I'm sure the Switchback fans. I know the Switchback fans are not happy about this.
They were not happy.
Hey,
yes.
So, we're happy. We're happy. Hey, he's gonna hopefully help out keep the cup with us, and I think he'll do good things. He's also got some good size, and I think that's what our defense has.
6'3".
We always had 6'3", and that's your typical Marcina, center back. And like I said, it's basically kind of like another Kamiri as far as being that tall. So it's a good pickup. We'll see how he does. I think he'll mesh well with Tainer, with Garcia, and then even Manley too. If Manley, plays in the back 3 as well. So I think we just made our like I said, our defense a lot better with this signing. Who knows? Like I said, we're probably still maybe looking for another one. We'll see. I think we need a rotation of 5, but this is a great pickup for us.
To me, and I just lost my train of thought here. The reason why this move was important is because the other player, was it Sam Jumka? And if I'm sorry, mispronounced, who was photographed in camp, who we were kind of tipped off that, he was in camp with San Antonio and close to signing, or, may have signed at the time, was actually traded from FC Dallas from Houston Dynamo to FC Dallas based on the first rights of refusal. You can just say, hey, that's more funny Garber rules, because that was he was out of contract with Houston, but because he didn't get selected in the reentry drafts and along those lines, that's where that comes into play. So he was traded, and like I said here, I don't fault Sam for getting the opportunity to go to MLS with FC Dallas. Now, how they orchestrated it's a 1-year deal with 2 option years for FC Dallas, so for team options. So, and you got to figure, I'm not saying San Antonio wasn't paying him well, but FC Dallas is probably paying him a little bit better just because of his veteran status for that here. So San Antonio missed out on him. So I think that made the Edwards signing even more pivotal for San Antonio FC. The advantage of Edwards, though, is he plays on the side with Manley, where Sam played on the side of Tainter along those lines here. So, I personally, for me, I like the signing of Edwards because, like I said here, I think, as you mentioned here, kind of that Kamiri role for that here. Question is, do you think he's a starter, or do you think Manley's still a starter?
Depending on the matchups of the games, I think that it's going to depend who gets. Honestly, if he's gone on loan, he's probably going to start. So more than likely, does that push out Manley out to the right side of the on the wing, which he can play that position and he's done well there. So but that also affects, do you bring in out Colin Maloney into the inside, but then, like I said, do you leave out PC or Abu? So, but that's a good problem to have because you have players you can, put in and out and so forth. I think there'll be a rotation to keep everybody fresh. I think kind of, especially what happened last year with all the injuries we had, I think that's what you're going to see. You'll probably see him start some of maybe, depending if they want to key on somebody, And then, like I said, maybe Malley will play, start at other games. So it's a good problem to have, and I think that's been the San Antonio way the last couple of years, is having players that can play multiple positions and so forth. And we're not going to miss a beat on there. But Edwards, like I said, he's going to be a good pickup. So if we need to really kind of strengthen our back three, like I said, he's going to be, he'll be a complement to Tanner and Garcia there, and then maybe move Madley out, like I said, on the wing for certain situations.
So looking at who we have, because so the roster sets now at 17. With the signing of Michael Edwards, season kicks off less than 2 weeks now, right? 11, 13 days, because there's 28 or 26, so 27, 28, 11, so 13 days from now. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about San Antonio FC and Oakland and the results. Rosters at 17, not counting any academy players, which they're typically will be. Historically, you figure they're gonna carry. They need one more just for the. You carry 11, right? 7 on the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically 7 on the bench, minimum's 5. So they have a full roster now, minus they can carry 6 on the bench. So you figure in the next next 2 weeks. So you got to figure this has got to be a big week for player movement outside of next week. What number do you think they start the season at? You think they, want to get to 2021, not counting academy kids, or you think they'd be okay rolling out 18, 19 senior rosters?
I think 18 is a good number, because you have 6 field players plus your goalkeeper, so you have 7 bench players. I think that's what they're going to initially start with, and then from there, after maybe a month or maybe a month and a half into the season, then they'll reevaluate. Okay, what do we really need? And that's what happened last year around May, June, when we brought in Aditerin. And I think that's the game plan they have. Is okay, let's see what we have here, how we do. If we have to bring in some firepower and I'm sure they have their eye on somebody, they'll make that deal to for that loan. But who knows? They could bring in another. Like I said, they could bring in another player this week, depending what area. Maybe another defender, or another player outside on the wing. Just to add some depth, because we are kind of, as far as wingers, we're kind of maybe a little. I know we have some players that can play both, inside and outside, but I think we want to add a little depth on there. I still think we need another forward up top. I think we need someone that.
I think we need a center forward.
That's going to poach goals.
To me, that's the big hole in this lineup. Some other player news. We've talked about it, danced around it. Santiago Patino signed with Avia FC. And I think they're in second division in Brazil, Serie B.
Serie B.
On the 21st, it was officially announced, so he's officially off the table. Jordan Ambiala, signed with the Las Vegas Lights on the 21st, as well. So really, Jordi Delim and Abdul Salam, who hopefully I'm going to do a podcast with Royce on Wednesday, to kind of see, because he's out in Vegas and we haven't had him on to get his views of what's going on for there. So we may have a double episode of SA Soccer, or pardon me, San Antonio FC fan cast here for that here. So, and then kind of the strange one to me is Nicky Hernandez. There's been some sightings of him around an arena soccer team. He's only 23. I thought he was kind of productive here. Are you still kind of surprised that there hasn't been any more whispers, whether it's MLS Next Plus, Next Pro, USL Championship? I thought he's a quality USL Championship. He's young.
We had that
You know,
nice goal. I mean, in Pittsburgh, that game, he really helped us win that game. I'm wondering if there was something off the field or in locker room that occurred that's why SAFC's not brought him back. I have a feeling some that might be the case, and that's why he's. And then also, you would think maybe some of the other USL teams would try to pick him up, and if the other teams have not signed him, then there's something must have happened, and
but
he's
even
probably kind of like
even Houston Dynamo 2, obviously North Texas isn't taking a shot, because FC Dallas let him go. Austin
even
FC,
USL one.
USL League Ones, yeah. It's to me, that's the mystery. Saeed Abdul Salam, I'm going to let Royce kind of share the story. If you haven't checked his social media accounts, please do, because there's a good feel-good story about him and his family. He's 30. He was a late season adjustment. I think if any team's looking to kind of bring in somebody late just for that veteran leadership, that's where he comes into play. Jordy DeLem, 28, maybe 29 now, depending on when his birthday is. Pivotal down the stretch. I'm still kind of shocked that nobody's kind of kicked the wheels on him. I haven't really heard or seen anything about him. And not just talking about San Antonio, just in general, like somebody like RGV, El Paso, something along those lines, where you bring in that kind of veteran leadership.
Even Vegas, because how bad their team was. You would think like teams like Vegas or even
Memphis
with all the changes in May. But even some of the teams out east, I mean, look at Charleston, they kind of rebuilt.
Pittsburgh.
You would think maybe in Pittsburgh, you would think someone like a player like him with his leadership, it would be good to have in the locker room. So that's just kind of odd to some of these players, unless there's some loyalty maybe to us. He's just kind of waiting. Hey, just call me when you need me. I'm ready to go. I mean, I think we should sign him just for that, what he did towards the end of the season and to the playoffs. He stepped up, especially when we lost PC. He was very pivotal, especially on that championship game. So, and having him in the locker room, I'm sure that leadership's going to help. So hopefully maybe SAFC changes their mind before someone else does. But I think you're right about, finding a player up top. Who's to say maybe we don't give St. Louis a call if they're not going to play somebody up there.
I checked on that now. The guy that they brought in scored a brace against Austin. He is injury. I guess has a history of injuries, and even in that match, after he scored his brace, he went off with a slight injury. I don't think it's anything serious or anything along those lines. I was talking with Phil, who does Flyover Footy, used to do the USL show. All around great guy. And he's like, depending on the matchup, Sam will be getting opportunities. Because I was like, hey, is he third, fourth? He's like, no, he's a solid third, close to the second spot. But him and the first one kind of marry each other, the big bodies along those lines. So he's not, as much as I was like, oh, hey, he's not even in the 18. He's like, no, there are a lot of plans for Sam. I think it's going to depend on that matchup for that here. So, and to be fair, St. Louis as an expansion team doesn't have a lot of depth at this point. So, wishful thinking. Would love to see him here back in San Antonio again, but obviously, I think for his career, he's hoping to get more minutes with St. Louis City, who beat Austin FC last night in a very entertaining match. Austin FC's upset. I will say Kip Keller, young center back, who got subbed on the 11th minute due to an injury for their starter. Unfortunately, had one of those gaffes that's going to be shown for years. I don't know if you remember growing up the Football Folly videos that would go around that you'd see Used to be a VHS for that here. You'd plug it in and watch the boneheaded plays. That's going unfortunately for the kid, that's going to be one. Just he passed it right to the St. Louis City player that was standing back.
Univision will call him the also the semana, the bear of the week.
Well, it's going to be on the. It's got to be on the. ESPN used to do a not 10. It was a not 10 highlight. Basically, the bone, top 10 boneheads, and
it'll probably be there tomorrow morning.
It's gonna be up there. Basically, it was a clear goal that went through. So I guess there's no way to sugarcoat the next part here. San Antonio traveled to El Paso for a friendly. Wasn't closed door, actually. There were fans there. Season ticket members, I'm not sure the exact park that it was at for here or sporting soccer fields along those lines. San Antonio FC, and I'll just say, I hate how personally I hate how they're setting this up here. That San Antonio FC draws El Paso 0-0 and the Academy falls 0-2. But then you read it, and it was like, because El Paso came back, said, "Hey, we beat San Antonio 2-0," and so the first team drawing 0-0 in 75 minutes before a lineup of San Antonio FC players took over for the final 15 minutes, and then they gave up 2 goals to Aran Gomez, who is one of the good players for El Paso. And then, San Antonio plays their final friendly against Houston Dynamo on March 3rd. I hate how they trying to split it up and spin it. It's preseason. Coach Marcinez says, "Hey, the results don't matter." So why try to sugarcoat it? I don't like it here. And I know El Paso, kind of tweeted back at them and was like, really? But your thoughts? The only thing we really have is the lineups and the change, 2 changes that they made, which we can get into in a second here. But your thoughts on, to me, the early part about San Antonio FC, and I joked around in our chat here of, oh my gosh, we can't score. We're doomed. We're doing the OC. Offense is lagging behind. Defense is solid so far. Only allowed 1 goal as far as with the starters, and the Academy. Like the Tulsa match. They allowed, when the Academy came on, I think they allowed 6. I think it was something like that here, and then obviously they gave up 2 late here for there. But your thoughts on the actual match? There's not a lot to talk about outside of the 18 and the 2 subs here. Anything that you have that you want to comment on?
It's just more of, like I mentioned last time, it's just building the chemistry or integrating the new players into the system, to what to expect coming up this season. But, maybe our concerns about the goal scoring. But if you remember last year, we really won a lot of close ones. Except for when we play some of those cupcake teams, that's when we reported on. But I think we're built. I think our team's built for 1-0 games or 2-0 games, like we saw last year. I mean, we saw like I said in the final against Louisville, they were supposed to be this high octane offense, and they couldn't do crap. So, and we just kind of pick them apart as far as picked our spots when we scored our goals. Just to kind of be like a little opportunist there, but that's just some Marcina ball there. So, but like I said, eventually, we may have to find someone, because if you look, like I said, you lost Adair and you lost Santi. Those are 2 10+ goal scorers on your team. So how do you supplement that? Coming into the season, I know we have Nacho, and I think Nacho is capable of doing that. But also Dylan, to an extent, but still we need to add more depth, and I think we do need to find a poacher that's gonna do some damage, that's gonna make a difference, that can kind of create shots, kind of like what Ditteren did, out of the blue, and make those in. So I think they may have an eye on somebody, and they're maybe working on it, and then who knows? We'll throw a surprise for the rest of the USL teams.
So this is the lineup that they announced. I think it was probably 3-4-3, although you could argue it's a 3-5-2 for that here. You think it was more of a 3-4-3 to start out, or?
I think it was a 3-5-2 with Laurel kind of lagging behind both our forwards, and he's more the attacking mid. And then you have PC, Maloney and PC there as your central mid, central taking care of the center there. So yeah, that's what you're gonna kind of see there, kind of like a little diamond shape there in that area.
And then this is what you talked about here, Michael Edwards. He's always worn 34, so I've already assigned him 34. That hasn't been announced publicly, but every video that I've seen, he's worn 34. I don't believe we have a 34 on the roster as of yet, so until advised otherwise, I'm giving him the 34 shirt. So Tanner, Garcia, Edwards, I think it's going to be, to me, will be your starting. As you talked, it kind of pushes Manley kind of out, to the outside here where he can play, and he started last year as well. But if he needs to go into the middle, go back to center back, he can. Gomez over here, Maloney can also play over there, and then of course PC, the captain, and I'm assuming he's still going to be the captain. I think these two will actually be your two captains here. We'll do a co-captaincy again here. I was kind of surprised by the pairing of Nacho and Hansen, Dylan Smith, and then what was it? 30 minutes. I want to say it was 30 minutes in. Let me see here. They did a sub of Hirano for Lara. We're assuming. But the one that kind of surprised me was Nacho coming off and Juan Carlos Azocar coming on. So to me, when they did that, do you think they went kind of more to a 3-4-3? Where you have, Juan Carlos on the outside, and I forgot to see which side that he goes on. I think these are reversed, right?
Yeah. And then you will have Maloney right behind Nico.
So you think Maloney will be,
and then PC right behind Maloney. So that's your holding mid there. That's your attacking mid right there.
So you think, like I said, we'll have Royce hop on to see what he thinks.
I think that's what they did there. If they did play a 3-4-3, that's what you're going to see there. Because Maloney's going to be your, like I said, your attacking mid. PC's always been your holding mid, but he's going to have more of the ball there, also to kind of distribute to the outside. I think that kind of makes sense. You have Piranha outside who cut in. I'm sure Marcino was probably experimenting to see if this kind of lineup works in this formation. And like I said, you can always plug in like a Boo in PC's role in that formation too, because he's a natural holding mid.
Yeah, so Juan Carlos is always going to be on the left hand side here. So yeah, so through here, could you see them? Because to me, Juan Carlos has always played on the outside. Could you see kind of something like this, where that 3-5? What was it? What would this be? Kind of a 3-4-2-1 type one, or
yeah,
3-4-3,
you can do,
but a little bit more narrower.
Yeah, they played something. I think they played a couple of times like that, but they still allowed freedom for your two attacking
the versatility
mids.
Swap, right?
Yeah. They could also play that too as well. I can see that there.
But with Juan Carlos, historically, his big things has been on the far left, and that's because of speed and his ability to cut in. You think if he plays more in, that limits him, or you think that could that opens him up to a different game?
I think with Shannon on the wing, it's going to be real difficult as far as defending him, because you're going to have two speed guys there. He pushes up. Yeah, he can go back and forth, and he can also cover for him if he has to, or or he can trail back, or if he does, like Shannon gets the ball, sends the ball out to the down the line for Juan Carlos to get, and then Shannon comes in to the inside, to cross back in. So I think it's just different combinations there. I think you're gonna cause problems there on the outside, and I think that's what we did a lot last year. And hopefully we can have more play on the outside, so we can send some crosses, especially to our big forwards like Dylan and Nacho, and then into as well.
So, not a lot that we can give to you report on to it. The contact that I have with Circe Loco wasn't at the match for that here. Looking at the El Paso Twitter, because they were tweeting a lot more active than San Antonio was. It was one of those where San Antonio had the opportunities, but the El Paso goalkeeper made saves, hit the crossbar, defense at the last second. So it is what it is. It's preseason, doesn't really matter a whole lot. I'm more interested just to kind of see on how the formation wise kind of looks like here.
Yeah.
To me, I'm very interested that Juan Carlos is playing more on an attacking side, more up top than what we previously have seen with when he was with Oakland, and I think even when he was with RGV, playing more on top. But he does have that capability, as you mentioned here, to switch between him and Shannon, which is going to be very, very dangerous, along those lines here. But to me, like I said here, whether it's Dylan, Hansen, Maloney, Smith, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that does. But I do think we're missing that clear goal scorer for that here. And I know Dylan's got the only goal on the year so far, and very limited action. But to me, like I said here, from here back, the back line, midfield, I think we're solid outside of maybe building some depth. To me, the question mark for San Antonio FC is
up top.
Is up top. Is who's going to score the goals.
Center mids and our back three, it's solid. Even the outside, it's solid. It's are we going to get productivity up front, especially with the two losses that we just had, with the dinner in it. It's
Toronto and Larrera. Do you think they're kind of the quarterbacks this year of the offense?
I think so.
They're the two that can create through here. Although Juan Carlos can also create as well. And we haven't seen Kamari Smith or Nico Hansen for that here, but we know Toronto can. We've seen in limited action David Larrera can definitely do so. So. To me, are they kind of the keys to the offense? I know we're 2 preseason games in. Do you think they're going to be the key to the offense?
Yeah, because of their speed and their quickness and the touch of the ball, they're gonna be the creators for our 2 forwards to get into space and be able to take those shots, because they're gonna attract a lot of the attention from a lot of the on the attack. So hopefully that frees up our forwards there to take shots on goal.
Any final thoughts on the El Paso match?
We just have to get a little more efficient and get better playing get some goals, because that's the whole thing. We got to put some goals into the net. I think eventually we'll find the right combination, and the guys will get one. Hopefully with this game against Houston, coming up against Houston, we'll get through it.
So Real Madrid dropped points this weekend. Barcelona lost to a team in the relegation zone in La Liga. U.S. and Mexico, U17s are playing
2-0 Mexico.
2-0. So Mexico, U.S. is giving it to Mexico right now. It sounds like here, although MLS kicked off last night. If you didn't check out the Apple Plus, was pretty good. I thought it was, like I said here, solid. The MLS 360, definitely worth the time. Especially, I will say the end of the first set of games where they had like 6-7 goals kind of back to back to back, right at the end of the games. Was kind of thrilling to have them bounce around. Did have commercials, which kind of irritated me a little bit, coming from the red zone. But MLS is already kicked off. USL in 2 weeks. League One in a couple weeks. The other big news, and it's kind of San Antonio related, maybe. Corpus Christi FC announced that their stadium should be completed for next year. For that here, or rumored to be completed. They have already broke ground, evidently, and permits are being approved by the city of Corpus Christi. So exciting news, a 5,000 seat stadium, soccer specific. So they won't be playing at, was it Whataburger Park? I think where the Hooks play. So it'll be awesome for them. Obviously San Antonio's, in championship. Somebody mentioned that Corpus Christi could be a championship team, although I think they're more going to be League One. If there's promotion relegation, 100%. But I think they're going to start out League One. I think that'd be kind of nice. Open Cup for that here. Oh, did we talk about the Open Cup? We talked about the Open Cup last week, right?
Where's this stadium going to be built at? Like, where exactly Corpus?
Hold on here.
Or they're doing it towards the downtown or like near Whataburger Park.
Hold on 1 second here. It says is located on Old Brownsville Road between San Padre Island and San Padre Island Drive and Cliff Massis Drive. So let's see.
It's probably that's the east end.
Hold on,
that's the east end of Corpus.
So what road? Corpus Christi between South Padre. South Padre Island Road.
Which is a Highway 358. Yeah, there's some open. If it's where I think, the Old Brownsville Road 358. There's some open land. Looking at the map, so that it's near the airport. Not too far. It's not too far from the airport.
Cliff Massis Road. Where's Cliff? Staples. Paul Jones. Flower Bluff. Yeah, that's a big road though that it's on, right? 358.
Yeah, that's like the main road in Corpus. If it's off of Old Brownsville Road and 358, there's plenty of land there that they can build the stadium.
Yeah, okay, so there's Cliff Mason. Just trying to take a look. 358. Just trying to see the other road that they're talking about. So that's West Point. So Cliff Mason. Barely.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's
So
near
South
probably near.
Padre, located on Brent between. Oh, so South Padre is 358. So bear me.
Yeah,
So yeah, okay. So it's right here. Hold on 1 second here.
so it's not too far away from West Oso.
So it
Yeah, there's
looks like
plenty of
right in
land.
this area.
Yeah, so that makes sense there because that's the only place they can really build there as far as the stadium. Unless they go more eastwards, which I doubt they would because it's just too far. This is more central location because it's closer
Plus, with the
to.
hurricanes,
Mhm.
this would be far enough. And I hate bringing that up, but that's got to be a concern here. So it is kind of on the. So here's downtown Corpus.
Yeah,
It's going to be more. It's kind of, if you're comparing it to kind of San Antonio, probably on like 1604, right?
it's probably
You
kind of
know,
like be at Ferris Stadium, just
yeah.
on the
So
outskirts. But that helps
just
them
because,
because you have fans from like Callan and Flower Bluff, and so it'd be a closer drive for not Flower Bluff, Robstown and Kingsville. So it's closer to them. So that's a good location for them.
but here's 37 too. So
Yeah,
if you're coming from Gregory Portland
or
or
Portland,
along
Rockport.
this side here, you go over the bridge and then come through in 358, right? Yeah, right onto 358 and through there. So to me, location wise, I think
It's ideal.
because it's ideal. I was like, hey, a little bit closer to the bay there, but really being honest, because Whataburger Park's over
Just under the bridge.
is
You're right
over in
there.
this area. For right here. So interesting location. Like I said here, um, Corpus Christi plays in League Two right now. Their schedule just came out for that here in PSL. I think their schedules came out as well. Well, their team divisions have came out. I don't know if their schedule has gone out at this point here. So there is a Whataburger. You'd have to think Whataburger is going to sponsor them, right? You'd like to
Yeah,
think, being a
yeah.
Corpus team. The only
Matt,
drawback that I could see here is there, if from a supporter section, there's not a lot around that area at this point. You got a convenience store, Rico Smokehouse and Catering, truck service, Whataburger. So hopefully, tailgate wise, they can do it here. Traveling fans would have a Fairmont and Comfort Suites within a walking distance for that here. So, but no, that's exciting news for Corpus. I know it's something that they announced pre COVID, and COVID unfortunately, impacted it, and then of course inflation and all that great stuff now. Not helping the situation along those lines here. So, but that's about what I got here. You have anything else?
well, that stadium, I bet you eventually that's going to be probably the host site for the Region 4 5A soccer tournament.
Mhm.
I want to be surprised that they moved because they usually play at Park. I think more if I'm want to showcase that stadium, I'll move the 5A boys and girls regional tournament there, and just to put it to use, maybe also to attract maybe their teams, their local soccer teams fans and so forth. So it's gonna make. I think it's gonna be great for them.
Yeah, if you want to get more details on the stadium, it's through Next Sports Co. So NEXT Sports Co.com. It's the Corpus Christi Sports Complex. This is ideally how they're going to have it set up. This is supposed to, from my understanding, supposed to be a hotelish, obviously parking, and then the soccer field. So they're wanting to have this, basically club tournaments, because from my understanding there's really not a so this is what they're looking for, is a 5,000 soccer seat stadium here, that but also allows 8 flexible multi-sports, trails, children player, concession, 1 hotel. So it's the typical USL mixed business. It was originally scheduled to be done by 2021 for that here. but they're hoping, college tournaments, youth sports tournaments along those lines here. It's supposed to be in 3 phases. The phase 1 is the stadium. Phase 2 and 3, are going to be the other fields there. So, but for academy, because there are a couple of solid academies down in Corpus, for them to be able to attract, be able to have a site there to where they could have stadiums, because this looks very much like Star, kind of the setup for Star here. For that here, although they have a hotel built on it, which would be kind of nice. To me, like I said here, for the city of Corpus, you got to think it's going to be, a big positive, for South Texas, because Texas A&M Corpus Christi is down there as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
and that might be a place for them to play at too. So, because they are a Division I team, I think in the Southland Conference.
So I don't know if they have girls and boys soccer or what the situation is, but
Just have the girls team, the women's team.
So, but to me, like I said here, it is. I could have just went right here, 5102 Brownsville Circle for that here, for here. So yeah, it's actually behind on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's through. So it's right here. I was thinking it was more on this corner over here, but no, it's going to be right across the street from an elementary school. So it's probably this lot right here, on the other side here. So, but either way, like I said, it's a huge positive for Corpus Christi, for the high schools, for the club teams. And as you did mention, for Region 4, for prep sports, it wouldn't shock me. Football-wise, also be played there as well.
Of course, if the Islanders decide to have a football team, which is a possibility.
RGV is.
Yeah.
So, and for that here, so that to me that's positive news. Especially for South Texas, and to me, and I've said this before, UTSA, to me, and I know there's a Title IX issues, but getting a men's soccer program, I think would really enhance the opportunities for soccer players locally in South and South and Central Texas, and hopefully at some point we're able to do that. Because UT doesn't have it. The only one that really does is what SMU. I think it has it as far as for the big schools.
Well, SMU has a D1, and Carnarvon's a D1 for men's. You also have Houston Christian, used to be the school formerly known as Houston Baptist.
Yes.
UTRGV has a men's team for Division I. So those are I think the only 4 teams you have, as far as Division I soccer. But then you have your Division II. But I mean, that's a surprising that the Big 12 doesn't have men's soccer. That's shocking. There, you would think a UT Oklahoma men's soccer. Imagine that being a rivalry game. For that would really, I think that would bring in a lot of money.
Oh yeah, but obviously there's a whole lot of other issues that come into play along those lines here. So, but we reached about our hour. Final thoughts there, Rafa?
Just looking forward to see how the team finished on the 3rd. See, I know they're going to get to Dynamo. I think Dynamo 2.
Houston Dynamo 2, yeah.
So we'll see, and hopefully maybe we'll get another plane signed up this week. They could be in the works. We don't know.
Give me two.
Give me 2. Give me some forwards. Give me one that's going to put 20 goals in the season, and then.
Well, I'm sure every team's looking for that here as well.
They're going to find someone in Argentina like they found Pirano. So hey, they have one of his buddies comes over here with him and team up with Baloney as well. But also final thought. Thursday, for the Thursday show, got some rankings, some changes. There were some losses and there were some ties, and I think we're gonna have a new number 1 for the girls, maybe. possibly. Maybe with the boys. We'll see. Got to tune in.
Lee girls in trouble.
Yeah. I don't
Central
know,
Catholic
something.
won on the. I didn't
Yeah.
check on the Sutter side, but I
Yeah.
saw Central Catholic won.
3-0.
Did Antonian win or?
Congratulations also to Bernie Geneva girls. They won. They advanced. Same thing with GP2 girls. They advanced.
Antonio won 2-0 over Northern Catholic for that here. So they won. I'm just trying to go through here the brackets real quick. TMI. Did you see that score?
Didn't see that score.
TMI 5. Beaumont Kelly won.
Oh.
So TMI is against St. Joseph.
That's probably the upset of the year for Taps. Someone must have ate their Wheaties that day. Or Beaumont Kelly
boys.
just
this is boys. And yeah, D3 kind of went how you thought. New Braunfels Christians lost, and British International rolled, and Convent rolled. Let me check girls' side real quick here. But yeah, congrats to TMI. We did not have that. In fact, you had Beaumont winning it all. So
yeah, because they had been, like I said, Beaumont Cali had been playing very consistent, and I don't know, they must have caught them on a very bad day. And kudos to TMI. It's what you do in the playoffs, and not what you do in the regular season.
So girls Division 1, District 1-1 versus District 1-3, District 1-2 versus District 1-4. So yeah, there we go with that. San Antonio Christian, the ladies got by Fort Bend Christian Academy 1-0. So they threw Austin. Probably an upset, I think, as well. St. Michael Catholic out of Austin beat Southwest Christian School out of Fort Worth. So they'll face Grapevine. I think you had Southwest going fairly deep. So congrats to them. Oh yeah, sets up JP2 in Geneva, 4-1, 4-2 versus the Convent. So it looks like Districts 4 and District 1 were in for Division 3. Convent School and McKinley Christian versus John Paul 2 and Geneva. So congrats. And both of them won convincingly. Geneva beat Houston Christian School 6-0, and JP2 won 4-0 in kind of it taps through here. Reason why we're also kind of doing this ahead of here is because they play on the 2nd, which I think before our show, right?
Yeah, because they play.
No, it would be on that show. Yeah, it would be on the show, but
on the day.
It looks like they play in the
morning,
early, right? So
yeah, so we'll have the results for those games.
So for San Antonio schools, Antonian, Central Catholic, TMI, JP2 for the girls, Geneva School for the girls. I think that was it, right?
So we could have some multiple champions in the San Antonio area after this week.
San Antonio Christian, D2 for the girls. For that here, so Geneva, you got to start thinking about them popping in your bracket. I know we haven't, they're your rankings, but
yeah.
You still don't think they get by the Convent, right? Out of Dallas.
Who knows now? Because if you're playing that well, I mean, to put 6 points, in a playoff game like that, that's a statement. And so you're pretty much flying high. JP2, because this is the third time they're going to face each other. This is going to be a difficult game for JP2, even though they've beaten them twice.
Yes, but they've been close matches.
Yeah, they've been close matches, and then they're playing at a neutral site. They're playing at Round Rock, so who knows what could happen there? And like I said, as long as if you get hot during the playoffs, and everything kind of pieces together. Plus, yeah, sometimes you do have to have some little luck from the soccer gods on your side. But hey, if we're turning it up on the field, like I said, I like our chances are here. With our teams, I think we're going to end up with a couple state champions by Friday.
TMI though, I think that's the upset. That one kind of caught you off guard. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, because Beaumont Kelly was just killing everybody, and the way they played last year and them dropping down from 6A to 5A, I think they had the advantage as far as just the experience and so forth. But kudos to TMI. They must have figured out something that they exploited and took advantage of.
Yeah, or just about, and that would have been on the road in Beaumont too, right? Because that round would have traveled,
or even a neutral site game.
The only issue is they face St. Joseph's Academy out of Brownsville, and let's see what they're. I think they struggled with them, right?
Yeah. But to beat Beaumont Kelly, build some confidence. Can they now? Like I said, Brownsville St. Joseph's can't take him lightly, especially with that. I'm sure they were probably expecting Beaumont Kelly. And
actually, I stand corrected here. So they beat St. Joe. There's only one St. Joseph's, right?
And Brownsville, yes.
Let me just check there. Make sure.
They made a split the season series.
Two one. No, they won.
This one,
according to here's 2-1 January 2nd at Canales Field, and then at TMI they won 4-2. So yeah, they first match 2-1 and then double the score in February 11th here. But as you mentioned, it's a new match at a different location further up, but Beaumont has to travel further, or not Beaumont. Brownsville has to travel quite a bit further than TMI, because what Round Rock's about, depending on time of day, hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on.
So it'll be a 5-hour drive for them. But you got to look at TMI now with a huge win like that, the confidence that team has, and it's believing itself that they could knock off St. Joseph in the semifinal and get to the final.
So that's a little bit of the SA Soccer Roundtable with the San Antonio FC fan cast here. Like I said, it's short weeks. And unfortunately, with Royce, hopefully winning enough to sponsor the show. Royce, please, please show those earnings. Robert, we got to work with you on your Sundays, my friend. With the Browns. So.
I think Royce with those earnings, he can buy me those nice Mexico shoes. It's 9.5, Royce. You can bring me those back from the Adidas store.
Watch him bring back the U.S. ones. But no, seriously, all serious, Royce. Hope you have a good time and safe travels back for that here. And Rafa, I know you're down deep in the valley. So safe travels back to you. When are you heading back?
Should be back Saturday night because I'll go to Victoria I'm here until Friday, and then Friday I'll leave to Victoria. I work in Victoria on Saturday for about till noon, and then I have to come back. I have to do a college fair at the AT&T Center for one of the Spurs games, so that they're sponsoring a college fair. So I'm doing that, and then that's it. And we're traveling for the month of March, so I get to be local for the whole month. But I may try to catch out a game here on Tuesday night. One of the Laredo teams, see what the key matchup, because those are the teams that are going to play District 29 6A. So that's going to be important. See, kind of get a little scouting report. See how they match up with our side teams, and then tomorrow I'll be on the 50/50 podcast premiering the new RPIs. There were some changes, some new contenders, some surprises too with some teams that you're gonna just tune in tomorrow. And then we'll have our rankings on Thursday. So there are gonna, like I mentioned, little secret, there are gonna be maybe some changes there too. There was a couple of upsets this past week.
And then we're already talking about what the 22nd of March or
Bracketology on a
23rd
Wednesday.
on a Wednesday. We all might be together, so that'll be kind of interesting. We may start it around mid-afternoon for that here. So I know I got the day off. Steve is going to host it and cook some barbecue. So we're going to try to do it all in one day. Of course, UIL, we need you to certify and get the brackets up, but keep that in mind here. So March 22nd, I believe it's March 22nd because matches start on the 23rd.
On the 23rd.
And we saw that last year where there were a few matches. I think most of them were the 24th, but there is that possibility for there because they turn and burn for the UIL playoffs just like they do for the TAPS ones as well. It goes quick along those lines here. So 22nd, we'll see it. You and I may do more shows kind of at after each round just to kind of highlight through there here. But for the bracketology, that is coming up. We're we're about a month away from that. Like I said, your San Antonio FC's 2 weeks as we discussed, less than 2 weeks away. So exciting times.
Yeah, on spring soccer too. We got some spring team or our local college teams have some spring games coming up. I think UTSA girls are hosting something big. I think at their complex soon. I'm not too sure what date, but I know they had a couple games on tap. Also, hopefully they'll be able to, like I said, to celebrate for their successful season this past year.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to see. Back in action for spring season here. They just put out a tweet. It's loading.
Yeah, I've been watching on their Twitter feed. They've been doing some spring practices and getting everything prepared for this coming spring season.
Yeah, I'm not. I thought I saw it, but yeah, I'm not showing that a prospect camp. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, spring schedule. March 4th against Houston, March 25th versus UIW, April 2nd, Seminole State, St. Mary's, 4-7, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, 4-15, I think it's at Texas A&M, Texas State, and then 4-22 versus UTSA alumni here. So, yeah, they've got 6 matches, 7. Well, I'm not sure what the splits are, if those are 2 matches in a day or kind of how those are going to go. But I think that's at Texas A&M, playing Texas State or along those lines. So I'm assuming that's probably for recruiting, right? Why they're doing this, or
yeah, well, also to get ready for the new season. As far as just kind of like with spring football, it's pretty much the same format.
Same concept.
Mm.
And admission is free, and of course, all of those are drawing a blank on their the campus.
West.
It's off 16.
Park West.
Park West. Yeah, so I know where it's at. I'm just like I forget the name of it, but unlike the Rapids, we are hanging in there. The Rapids are getting blown out by the Sounders 3-0 in the 57th minute. So hopefully the US U17s aren't getting blown out 3-0 by Mexico.
That's 2-1.
2-1. So US is coming back, and that's probably why on FS1. At this point,
and Univision, 2DN.
2DN. So. Rafa was fun. Like I said here, I know you and I'll chit chat afterwards here, but thank you for everybody tuning in. What's Life Without Goals? Royce is scheduled to be back for next week. I am going to see if we can still get together on Wednesday because Royce was pretty up for the show. Maybe see if Robert can make an appearance as well because we haven't seen his beautiful face in a little while for that here. So getting closer, guys, for that here. So what's life without goals? We're out of here. Hope everybody has a wonderful
See ya.
evening.